I think you clicked on a good one today, friendo. I'm excited. We're gonna ponder over some Mercury dimes and see where it takes us. Last video, Vic Clementi. Congratulations. If you would, friendo, hit that like button. Not only are we gonna take a deep dive in Winged Liberty dimes, but we're going to arrange them and even stack them in a very aesthetically pleasing manner. I'm establishing a perimeter so I don't stack them off camera. I hope you hit that like button, friendo. Your likes will push this video out in the world further, putting this glorious old American silver in front of more eye holes. And it incentivizes me to keep creating. Your likes give me the warm and fuzzies, and I appreciate it. This is gonna be beautiful. We're just gonna line them all up, obverse up, face left. I got a little over $30 face here, I believe. Now don't get too excited and go out and buy these after you see the video and bid up the price and make them cost too much for me when I go to my local coin shop to get some more. I'm just kidding. I don't think my channel's that big enough to influence the price of something that I talk about. I'm just saying that because I watch Thousandaire Radio videos too, and I often accidentally influence myself. The visuals, right now, I'm looking at them too, and I can't help but think I want more of these. So if you were alive during the Great Depression, I'm assuming you were not, this would be what dimes look like. I wonder, what could you get with one of these back then? We're gonna go over that for sure. But first, just in case you're not up to speed, let's go over what they are exactly. Mercury dimes are a series of 10-cent coins minted by the United States from 1916 to 1945. They are composed of 90% silver and 10% copper. So they're made of valuable material, unlike the currency today. Minus nickels, which are 75% copper and 25% nickel. And we still have some pre-1982 pennies in circulation. At least at the time of making this video. June 29th, 2024. But other than the nickels and pre-1982 pennies today, all of the currency is mostly intrinsically worthless. Meaning it has little to no value in and of itself. Let's say, for example, a dollar bill. If merchants should stop accepting them, what could you do with it itself? So if you could not spend your dollar, what could you do with it? I'm not going to say the only thing that came to my mind because you might be eating while you're watching this video. Of course, I guess you could use it for a napkin as well. And that's not just a $1 bill. That's a $2 bill, a $5 bill, a $10 bill, a $20 bill, a $50 bill, a $100 bill. They would all likely be worth the same if the promise should be broken. What's that promise, you might ask? The promise to pay. The promise to pay who? The promise to pay you, friendo. Did you know that your dollar is redeemable for $1? I know, right? It's genius. Now, you probably already know it wasn't always so, but I'll elaborate anyhow. You see, for most of American history, the dollar was redeemable in gold or silver, which do have intrinsic value and many uses, but could be quite cumbersome or unwieldy, heavy or difficult to carry in many cases. Imagine, say, going to buy a car with 100-ounce bars of silver. It wouldn't be by any means impossible, not even close, but it would be a significant event. Today, a 100-ounce bar of silver is about $2,800. Let's say you're spending about $20K for a car today. I know, that's probably pretty low. It's a used car. Because you're smart with your money. You're not driving a new one off the lot. Anyhow, you would need just a smidgen over 7 of those 100-ounce bars of silver. So a 100-ounce bar weighs a little under 7 pounds. 6.86 pounds, I believe. Yeah, so in total, you would have to haul about 48 pounds of silver to your car dealership or to the nice little old lady you're buying it from who barely put any miles on it. And before you spend that 48 pounds of silver, you would have had to have kept it somewhere safe and secure, hopefully. 100-ounce bars, like I said, are only a little under 7 pounds. But if you drop one, yeah, it'll break your foot. And imagine taking these bars out of your car and handing them to a little old lady. 48 pounds of silver, 7 pounds at a time. She would not only need a place to store them safe and secure, but she would also have to verify them to make sure they are in fact 100-ounce bars of silver. All the way through. Instead of bars, you could give her 8,709 Mercury dimes, which are recognizable. Or you can make it even easier and give her 815 Morgan dollars, or peace dollars, whatever you like. But this is a Mercury dime video. Now, this process of trading silver, which has been money for thousands of years, for goods and services, has been simplified in the past with paper notes called dollars. That's right, dollars. The silver and gold was vaulted safely in banks, and you could go to the bank and redeem the silver and gold with your dollars. The dollar was a promise of payment in useful, tangible assets, gold and silver. So now you could conveniently hand that nice little old lady $200, $100 bills with a total weight of only 2 grams. And then later, she could redeem those $100 bills for payment. You know, the more I think about it, the promise has already been broken. All right, let's think about it. Let's see if we can simplify it. Say I gave you a gift certificate to your favorite restaurant, but it's no longer redeemable in food. But fear not, it's redeemable in more certificates. Awesome, right? And you can trade these with other people for goods and services. They're like, oh, I just gave you a car and you gave me 20,000 in restaurant certificates. I know I can't redeem these for food, but I still trust that restaurant. And I know other people still want these and I can trade them for goods and services myself. Wow. I mean, is it not like that? If it's not like that, comment below. Let me know if I'm getting this wrong. I'm thinking it's a game of musical chairs. And the music is the blissful ignorance of the masses. And as people become enlightened and that ignorance begins to fade away, then the music will begin to fade away. And people will start eyeballing chairs a little harder. And what are the chairs? The chairs are tangible assets. What else could they be? So if and when the music should stop, the ones holding those gift certificates to the restaurant that does not serve food for them, well, they won't have a chair. They will have the certificates, though, and can enjoy the intrinsic value of them, which is merely the value of the paper they are printed on. So what if that music stops and the chair you have is a bunch of these Mercury dimes? What could we maybe get for these during the zombie apocalypse? Well, first, let's see what we could have bought with them during the Great Depression. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you caught this or not, I just did. But that payment of $20,000 or 48 pounds of silver for that $20,000 car. Well, that 20 pounds of silver is the equivalent of 8,709 Mercury dimes. So you could technically get that $20,000 car for $807.90 with old Great Depression money. All right, so this has got me thinking. I'm going to ask ChatGPT, during the Great Depression, what was the average car price? It reads, during the Great Depression, the average price of a new car varied depending on the make and model, but generally it ranged from around $500 to $800. Wow, I didn't know that when I started making this video. It says a Ford Model A was about $500 to $700 in the early 30s. A Chevrolet Series AE Independence was $600 to $700 in 1931. All right, anyhow, I asked ChatGPT, what could you buy with a Mercury dime during the Great Depression? We'll start with some food items. A loaf of bread, around 5 to 10 cents. Curious, how much is a loaf of bread today? A cheap loaf is about $4 or $5. So right now it will cost you 2 or 3 Mercury dimes to get a loaf of bread. That's interesting. Let's see, how about milk? During the Great Depression, a quart of milk was approximately 10 cents. All right, I'm seeing quarts of milk are about $2.30 today. Remember, it's July 29th, 2024. So if you're watching this video years later, chances are milk's a lot more. So $2.30. Interesting. That's a little less than 1 1/4 Mercury dimes today. So if you stuffed a Mercury dime in your mattress in 1930 and just took it out today, you could still buy that same quart of milk pretty much. Can you say that for dollars that you stuffed in your mattress last year even? I don't think so. And definitely not dollars you stuffed in your mattress a few years ago. And I'm sure the disparity gets even more horrific the longer you have stuffed paper notes in your mattress. But yeah, if you stuffed $800 of Mercury dimes in your mattress in 1930, you can still buy a car today. And it would be a much better car than what you would have gotten in the 30s. If you have a hard time explaining why you stack silver and gold to a friend or relative, maybe send them this video. Of course, if you're having a hard time explaining it to them, they may have an attention span of a termite. I don't know why I picked termite. Sounds good, though. That may not be accurate, though. I mean, a termite is a determined little bug. But you know what I mean. Either way, I hope you hit that like button. Look how I'm lining all these little Mercury dimes up and I'm looking up all this information. This is taking me a long time. If you've been here this long, though, I do appreciate you watching. And if you're new here and you're enjoying this content, you should be hitting that like and subscribe button anyhow. So I'll show up in your YouTube feed and I'll be easy to find. All right, so what's another food? Eggs. A dozen eggs, about 18 to 30 cents. So a dime could buy roughly half a dozen eggs during the Great Depression. All right, I see eggs are about $3 to $3.50 today. Again, July 29, 2024. Half of that, half a dozen, is about $2. So the price of eggs stayed about the same. If during the Great Depression you sold half a dozen eggs for a Mercury dime and stuffed that Mercury dime in your mattress and were amazingly still alive today and took that dime out, you could get your half a dozen eggs back. All right, so there's a few Great Depression prices for you. Oh, the next one's coffee. You want one more? So during the Great Depression, a pound of coffee was 20 to 30 cents. So a Mercury dime could buy about half a pound. So a half a pound of coffee today is about $3.80. I chose cheap coffee because they probably didn't have great coffee back during the Great Depression. So that would cost about 2 Mercury dimes today. Although I probably could have found cheaper coffee. I didn't look very long. So we didn't go over necessarily a lot of products. So we're still in the realm of rough estimation. But based on what I've read today, it would probably be wiser to stash Mercury dimes rather than paper notes, whether times are good or bad. Now, if we had a serious collapse, or perhaps an all-out zombie apocalypse, what would I suspect I could get for these dimes? Well, if we had a collapse, I would probably guesstimate what we could have always gotten for these dimes, roughly. Emphasis on the roughly, but what else would you have? I mean, you could store up some supplies, but I mean, a lot of things are perishable, so you can only store so much. And after that, I think these little Mercs are a great choice. Cheers to you, friendo. Salud. That's a pretty awesome sight, isn't it? A dense block of Mercs. Hey, I put some work into this one. I want to see some comments below. Good, bad, whatever. I could use the feedback. Well, I guess that's it. That is it! Thousand Air Radio, wicked job. You always stay after the credits. You're so awesome.